today, as every morning, I did a LinkedIn post trying to promote my business, trying to promote my work. And for some reason, it didn't pop off. And with didn't pop off, I mean, it didn't get any traction. Like there wasn't any interaction at all. People didn't like, people didn't comment. There was no reshare. There were barely any impressions. So I was curious why exactly that is happening. I have had similar issues or experiences before on other platforms such as Twitter or X and Instagram. And back then I did my research, like, why is that happening? Why suddenly, even though I got really good traction, I regularly get like feedback, I rather get some interaction of people, new followers, why some posts suddenly don't work out? And if you're wondering, why is this guy eligible to tell me something about LinkedIn, posting, social media, and community? Let me quickly introduce myself. I'm Kai. I'm building my own business right now, and I've worked in the industry, like in the game and CGI industry, for over a decade now. Also crafting my skills and experience in the social media and community management area that I worked in for, I think, 4 years in total. And I still accompanied like my last company throughout the development by still doing this. It's just the experience that I got over these years and getting better at social media. Right, so I never experienced this on LinkedIn. And I'm sure you guys probably had this once before if you tried as well to like post regularly on LinkedIn, that this happened. But this is the first time for me, so I, again, did my research. I went to dig into why this could happen, what I might did wrong compared to the other posts, even though I feel like they were kind of similar. And I quickly want to share the impressions I have and the findings I made. So one big thing could potentially, and I'm saying could because this is all very theoretically, it could very well be just a completely different reason, but I suppose it's one of these issues. So the first thing is the LinkedIn's initial algorithm filters. So for all social media platforms, there's like one filter that does like a quick quality check. And it just checks if your post might be spammy or if it's offensive or just low quality, or it doesn't like LinkedIn matches, or it doesn't match what LinkedIn likes usually to post. And then it's just going to be flagged, like internally flagged. It's just, you could say like shadow banned. While it's not exactly a shadow ban because your account is not affected, that specific post is just not in the grid of things LinkedIn wants to see on their platform. And that might not necessarily mean that the post is different to the posts you did before, or that it doesn't match like the actual standards or the quality they are asking for. But sometimes that algorithm just can be wrong. Or it's trying to figure out if you're a new account or if you didn't post regularly, if this is some spammy interaction. Like if you suddenly start to post frequently, this might be the reason, just because the algorithm checks for, is this usual? Is this something that I expect? And if it's not, it just like vanishes the post basically into the void and no one is going to be notified about it. Not even your followers, which is sick, especially because I don't feel my post is too different from what I did before. But we will get to this later in the video where I show you the post and what I would change probably. So the second reason that might be the case is the low early engagement. So usually a platform checks within like the first minute or two, or even hour. I think this depends totally on like the timing of the post and how big your account is. But it tracks how many people react to this post within the first hour. And reaction can also be an impression. So if someone is scrolling through their feed and they come across your post and they just like stick to it, not just scroll by, but they stick to it. They maybe like spend a second or two or three on that post. This is already some engagement that the algorithm is tracking. So if that's not happening, of course, the algorithm has to think of this post as not being valuable, so it doesn't push it out compared to anything other that is posted like at the same time from other people. again, I don't think that would be the case for my issue, just because for small accounts, low early engagement is like the natural habit. It's like the environment where you're located at. It's like if this would always make posts invisible to potential viewers or people that might have an interest in reading those, this could never be pushed to anyone. Just because if you have no followers, if you have no traction or reach, there's going to be a low early engagement. And, that shouldn't be a blocker. I think this is mostly related to accounts that already are kind of established. And it just, one reason as well might be the policy or community guideline violations. And this sounds harsh because it doesn't mean that you're like posting something that might be offensive to some people or inappropriate or has like not the right content or images to show on the platform. But it might very well be that you just posted some link by accident or by intention and you didn't know about it, that LinkedIn doesn't like to see there. This could range from anything to, from another social platform over to like maybe a download link because you want to give some people the option to download your stuff, or maybe some form where they should sign and put their information in. Everything related to that might fall under violating the community guidelines, which isn't doing it exactly, but the algorithm is trying to like protect its users or its user base from any content that is spammy or potentially violating. In the same sense, also repetitive and spammy stuff might as well fall under this policy. So if you're like repeating yourself a lot in what you write, or it might be too many images, or it's unclear where these images have been created, if it's your content, if it's like crawled from the internet, something like this. This could all very well just trigger this violation and make the LinkedIn algorithm like toss your post. And another reason might be something that I call shadow flags. Which is like an automated tool from any social media platform that just makes your account less important to the algorithm and whatever you post. Again, I don't think that's the case right now for me, and I don't think that a lot of accounts fall under this shadow flag, even though many people, if they encounter the situation where their posts just suddenly don't get any traction, feel like this might be the case. But even then, this is just temporarily. It's like the algorithm is trying to check, is this an exception? Like, is this account only posting so much or this stuff like usually, or is it a temporal stuff? And if it's temporal, they are going to remove it anyway, or the algorithm is going to remove it anyway. But yeah, this, like, for some people, this might be the case. Again, I don't think that's happened for me, just because my account is, like, I'm not posting too much or too frequent. Like, one post a day is, I think, below the average still. So I wouldn't call this the potential issue. And then there's also like the platform and audience shifts, which I also don't think might be the case, but it could very well be that LinkedIn or their internal algorithm shifts to what people are presented, because trends shift, the audience shifts. Like, not every month, every year is the same content applicable to the same people. And this can also be measured by the engagement you get. So if your engagement is like constantly decreasing, like it's not gone, but it's decreasing, and you can like get this information from your analytics. You just see that whatever you do, you're doing the same stuff over and over, and it doesn't like hit so well like it did at the beginning. The platform or the algorithm starts to understand that this is probably not the content people want to see anymore. So if you just keep on doing this, they just remove the weight of your post completely, so you don't got any engagement anymore, because it's not presented to new people and maybe not even your followers. That being said, let's have a quick look at the post that I'm talking about. So as you can see, I posted this 6 hours ago in the morning, which is usually the time where I'm starting to post because it's before my work hours. So I have a few hours in the morning spare to prepare some content to post. What I usually do is to include like a hook, like a headline just at the beginning that might be interesting to people. That might be the catch why people should spend more time on that post. And I'm formatting it like this, like you can see these two spaces here. So if it appears in your feed, only this area here, like only very much this sentence here is shown to you together with the image. Which should incentivize people to click on read more because they want to know about what grunge maps am I talking about. Like always leave some kind of exploration for the person to potentially watch your post. So this is nothing different to what I did before. Next up is like what I usually do is I talk about the work I post. I also try to be a little bit on the sales side because I want to make sure that whatever I post here and I show is also clear in its quality and position in the market and why I do this and what benefit you as the reader have from now reading this post and being engaged with the content I shared here. So this is, again, completely usual stuff. Might be a little more text than what I do usually, but the general frame is the same. The last thing I do is also in the new bracket is to be some kind of engaging towards the community or the potential reader. Something like asking questions, being relatable, like, did you experience the same? Do you have other experience? Let me know if, let's get in touch, something like this. And this follows by my hashtags. And usually I only post like 4 to 5 hashtags maximum because from all the years doing social media and community management, I've learned that usually you should keep your hashtags quite focused on that niche that you're trying to hit. There are a lot of people saying different stuff, and there's a whole just universe of theory about how to do hashtags the best. But I found out that this is the best working for me, so I don't care what other people do. And I used are probably new ones, so I didn't. This is while I'm doing the analysis now, or I'm talking about the post. This is something I didn't think about at first when I started to make this video. But it might just be that the hashtags I used are different to what I'm doing usually. I have another post here, which is one of my best succeeding so far. You can see like 65 likes, a few shares, a few comments, and over 10,000 impressions, which is crazy. Like, it's crazy numbers for me. But at the same time, you can see I got my hook, I got a blog where I talk about the work, and I got like the connection to the user. So we're still basically doing the same framing. And here I didn't even include any hashtags. So I didn't place my content for that algorithm in the specific niche. And again, usually I also use other hashtags or less. So this is the first post I made, like this one, where I used those hashtags and also 5 of these. And my prediction now is to like explain why this post didn't get any traction at all until now, or ever, is just because I used those specific hashtags. And I don't want to say that you need to keep track on what hashtags you post and make like a whole science out of what hashtags you use and in which order. All I want to say is that sometimes you have no control over how your posts are going to be interpreted by the algorithm and who is going to see it. Because when I did this, obviously I followed the same frame, the same concept I always do. Being very confident about that the post is something that people want to see because I'm very excited about what I'm sharing here. But just posting, just using in different hashtags, maybe a different time, I just happened to be unlucky with this one. if I would repost this, like exactly this post again in a few hours, or maybe tomorrow because I reshared something today already, this could very well blow up. I mean, like not go viral, obviously. I'm doing a lot of stuff wrong to fit like the current meta how to go viral, but I don't feel very satisfied with how posts need to be structured to do this. Like it just feels fishy. It's catchy. It's like this clickbait mentality, and I'm not a fan of it. So I will not ever do it, and rather work with lower impressions but building like a trustworthy community.